All right, guys. We are at week 3 of the football season, and we are week 3 of fantasy football, and we have Dillon, Tennessee Tornadoes versus Mayhem, father-son rivalry to start it off. So we'll get right into it. We'll go straight quarterbacks.
That's an easy one. Tom Brady against Jacksonville. Clear favorite there over Tyrod Taylor at Miami.
I would say that just for sure Tom Brady's going to put up some numbers, but I would not be surprised if Tom Brady and them run the ball. It's Belichick's kind of way, and then Tyrod Taylor is actually 5th in fantasy points amongst quarterbacks, but against Miami, I don't see that happening. Running backs, we got Peterson and Gore versus Stewart and Freeman. Gore hasn't really done a whole lot, but I think Peterson coming into stride. Stewart has been struggling, and Freeman is taking over for injured Tevin Coleman. I think they'll put up decent numbers, but I think Peterson and Gore win out.
I think so too. I think Gore, after the frustrating week that the Colts had with Luck last week, that Pagano's going to want to run the ball a little bit more. And I know Gore's frustrated about getting fumbled on at the 1 yard line last week. So I agree with that. I think they're both out for blood.
Then we have receivers. We have Larry Fitzgerald and John Brown for both Arizona receivers versus Demaryius Thomas and Calvin Johnson. This to me is a no-brainer. Fitz put up good numbers last week, and Brown has been pretty solid. But it's usually when you own two receivers on the same team, one's going to go off, the other one's not going to do so well. And Demaryius Thomas is eventually going to get in the end zone, and I expect Calvin Johnson to get a lot of catches as the Lions try to keep pace with the Broncos. So Dad definitely got the advantage there. Mayhem for sure. Tight ends?
Tight ends, it's so hard to say, but I mean, honestly, I haven't seen really anything overly impressive out of Jared Cook so far. And with them being up against Pittsburgh, who seems to be doing really well here lately, I'm going to give a slight edge to Eifert. I think that Baltimore does good on the secondary, and they throw a little bit more to him this week.
And then at the flex position, I think we've got two really good flexes here. We've got Yeldon going up against New England. New England's run defense is pretty weak, and Yeldon is eventually going to do good, and Chris will eventually be right on that. But for now, he's been wrong. And, yeah, I said that, Chris. You're wrong about Yeldon, at least so far. Mike Evans eventually is going to play, and I think Houston, he might do it this week, but I would actually give Mayhem the advantage with Yeldon. It's just more touches. Evans coming back from injury and more snaps, so go Yeldon. Defenses, Steven, you want that one?
I don't like either one of the defenses. I do actually, no, I take that back. I do like Arizona's defense. Their secondary is really good. However, I will say that San Francisco seems to be more run-oriented so far in the early part of the season. But I'm going to actually agree with the projections here, and I'm going to kind of side with Arizona for Mayhem.
Yeah. And then kickers are kickers. So, overall, I think Dylan's team is starting to turn things around, or at least his players are. But I think
you should have won last week. You really should have.
Yeah, you really should have. But I think Mayhem keeps rolling and riding the Tom Brady hot streak, and Demaryius and Calvin Johnson are eventually going to get even better numbers. So I think this team's going to win despite the deficiency at running back. So
I'm going to agree with
Mayhem.
Mayhem, for sure.
There you go.